A very good evening to one and all. I'm CA Shreya Jain, your host and host for the masterclass on startups. So here, this masterclass is a very interesting 4-day classes, which is going to focus on angel investing. So a beautiful initiative taken by ICAI for specifically forming a committee on startups and MSME, led by Honorable President CA Nihar Jambusaria sir and Vice President CA Debashish Mitra sir. Well, startups is a word that is buzzing all around the world. And in India, a few years back, it was at a nascent stage. And today, well, we have Shark Tank India. So let's know more about it, how to start building your thesis. And today we have with us our teacher, an eminent speaker, our special invitee, CA Ninad Karpe sir. He's a partner at 100x.vc, a VC firm which invests in early stage startups and has invested in 70 startups so far. It aims to invest in 100 startups every year. He was the MD and CEO of Aptec Limited for more than 7 years, till 2016. He previously served CA Technologies, a US headquartered leader in software products, as MD of India. He has also authored a book on business strategies titled Bond to Baba, which received rave reviews and was listed by Amazon its prestigious list of memorable books of 2018. He was the chairman of Western region of CII for 1718. And besides this, he's passionate about sporting theatre and has produced two Marathi plays, which has received wide acclaim, and an avid follower of F1 racing. A fun fact, he switches off his mobile phone during the race days. So yes, sir, the stage is all yours, and we're intrigued to know about how to start building your thesis.
Thank you, Shreya, for those words of introduction. Thank you, Institute, for giving me this chance to share my knowledge. I believe I should share, and this is a great opportunity. I must tell you my conversation with my young son this morning, because he always wants to know what I'm doing during the day, and he never tells me what he's planning to do. So I told him I have got this masterclass at the Institute. He said, Dad, you know what? There's so many young CAs. Each one of them is 10 times smarter than you. And how come you're taking a masterclass? So he has warned me that each one of you participants is 10 times smarter than me. I can only give you some indicators. I'll share my knowledge over the past so many years. And welcome to the exciting world of angel investing. I can tell you this is so exciting. I can go on and on about how exciting it is. I have done multiple roles till now. I've been in practice, then I was in industry for so long, and now I'm in a full-time VC. It is a really exciting thing to do. Whatever you're doing, doesn't matter you're in industry, you're in profession, you're doing whatever, part of a portfolio, you should think of doing angel investing. It will give great joy. It will give pain as well when you lose money. But yes, that's part of the ride. Why, how to do it, where to start, you are joined the right place. Institute has provided this platform, and I will share the knowledge with you. I'm going to speak for some time now because I have got, since it's a masterclass series, I've positioned it that way. Then, although my presentation slides also like a masterclass. At the end of it, if you have any questions, you can post it. Shreya and the organizers will take it at the end of it. So let me get going. Let me start sharing my screen. Yes, I think it is full screen on my thing. I hope you can see it full screen. Shreya, can you quickly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Building a thesis is the foundation. You may have money, you may be the smartest chartered accountant east of Suez, does not mean that you will be great at investing. You have to build a thesis. What is a vision? What is a strategy? You may be able to write checks of 10 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores, because that's money you have. Doesn't matter. without a thesis, you should not start investing. The next 90 minutes, I'm hoping to give you a lot of ideas based on which each one of you have to form your own thesis. I cannot give you a thesis. I can only give you pointers. And based on the pointers, you can easily bring about your own thesis. So today is a unique day, 2nd February 2022. It's called the World Trumpet Day, 2222. So you'll always remember, and I'll remember, I've taken my first masterclass for angel investing on this very unique day. So after my class is over, download whichever music app, Spotify, Amazon, and listen to some trumpet, because today is a World Trumpet Day. 2222. So here you are. Let me get down to business and try and talk to you about some important aspects of your business, of the thesis. So your thesis should be based on your unique goals. Each person's goals are unique. What is your age? What is the fund requirement? How much surplus funds you have? Are you doing this just to be part of an industry? You want to do it in fintech, healthcare? Are you doing it just so that you get associated with some new ideas, learn some new things? Or you have enough money and you can slice a part of it and take enormous amount of risk? Remember, angel investment is risky, and I'll talk later on in my presentation what are the risks associated with it. But what is your unique goal? Each person's goal is unique. You may say, yes, I've heard that angel investment is very exciting. I want to know how to do it, and I'm willing to invest some portion. That could be a thesis. Or you could say, no, you know what? I'm willing to take this risk. I'm going to invest a lot of money. Or third, you could say, yes, I want to be in touch with the latest trends, the latest founders, and I want to be part of this industry. Although I'm practicing or I've got a job or doing whatever, I want to dedicate part of my time and my money to this. So this unique goal you have to set, and it cannot be someone else's goal. My goal is different. I'm a full-time VC. I've got two professions. I am a full-time VC, and on weekends, I produce Marathi theater. But for me, Monday to Saturday, I am thinking only of investments. So my goal is to be part of this fund 100x and figure out how 100x becomes successful. That cannot be your goal. You're an angel investor. You have to figure out your own thesis, own unique goal. There's a lot of liquidity sloshing around. There's a lot of money. How are you different? Today, if it's a great idea, in fact, I've just come from office and I told his founder, you know what? It's not that 100x only gives money. If you want only money, just shout out of the window and say, I'm a founder of this SaaS startup. I want so much money, and money will chase you. It's a fact. There's so much money people are willing to invest. So money is there. So suppose you decide after the session of 4 days, yes, I want to start angel investment. You have to figure out how are you different. So smart founders want smart money. They don't want dumb money. They're very clear about it. I will tell you an incident. Around 3 weeks back, I got on LinkedIn this message saying I'm a 16-year-old student and I need to talk to you. So I asked him, what is it about? He said, no, you're regularly posting on social media various ideas every day. The way you put it, the presentation format, content is good, presentation format is bullshit. He uses the exact words. So I got on a call with him. He's a 16-year-old boy from Delhi, a student. And he said, you know what, your content is good, but there can be so many ways of improving it. So again, money is not the only criteria. Money is now become a commodity. If you are starting to invest, you have to figure out how are you different. This is a hard-earned money. It is not easy. So investment for hard-earned money is not easy. If you were running a fund, it's a different story. If you are, advising people, as probably most of you are doing, or you're a CFO of a company, it's a very different decision-making process. But it's your own hard-earned money. Your investment decision is not easy. And then you have to decide what kind of investments you have to make, what amount, which area. I'll elaborate further. And why are you doing it and why now? All these are important investment criteria you need to figure out before you actually start investing money. You should act consistently. If you're an angel, act consistently as an angel investor. Do not become a speculator saying, today I've invested, I've got 2x after 2 months, let me exit. That is not angel investment. There is a thesis on the basis of which you invest, and there's a thesis on the basis of which you exit. It is, and all this has to follow a particular pattern. If you start flipping around regularly, you are a speculator. Angel investment is not speculation. It is a process, it is a proper thesis, and you have to follow that. So this is Investopedia's definition of investment thesis. I just thought I will reproduce here so all of you can read it, but I'll read it for you. An investment thesis is a reasoned argument for a particular investment strategy backed by research and analysis. In the financial world, an analyst may prepare a formal document outlining an investment thesis for presentation to potential investors or investment committee. Here I'm assuming you are the investment committee, you are the investor, and you're going to do the research analysis. So for yourself, you need to be very clear, and it does not harm in actually articulating on a piece of paper, this is my thesis. So all these reasoned argument, particular investment strategy backed by research analysis and your knowledge has to be put in a, you can put in a one-page document for yourself. Sorry, I'm going to keep grabbing my cup of tea while I'm talking. And why do you have to do it? Because based on the thesis, it triggers your behavior. You get aligned to networks. So, there are angel networks everywhere. Most interestingly, Economic Survey just recently pointed out that the maximum number of startups are now in Delhi, followed by Bangalore. And of course, Maharashtra as a state has a large number of startups. So based on the thesis, you will get associated with different networks. It will guide your focus and it will sustain the investment momentum you have to do for a winning portfolio. Remember, your thesis ultimately has to result in a winning portfolio. What is a winning portfolio? A minimum 20x returns. And when we invest in 100x, we say a minimum 20x returns is what we look at in a startup. Startup is very different from a normal business. A normal business is happy with a regular return, which funds you and a family. Startup has to have, by definition, a business model which scales. What is the present and future? Put your present cost into the future. So you're going to allocate some money for now for a return, which is going to take some time. And your future benefit also you have to put in the present. So both these are philosophical statements, but you need to ensure that you put your present cost into the future and put a future benefit into the present. And it's a living statement. You have to keep revisiting and updating your thesis regularly. It keeps changing every 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. You can keep fine-tuning it without changing the main substratum of the whole thing. If you change that, that becomes a problem. And it is similar to boating. I was in Kochi a couple of months back, and part of that snake boat, I was one of the. I'm not an expert, but as a as a fun activity, I was there. So rudders give the direction, and oars give the progress. Both are important. So your first part today, hopefully by 8 o'clock when the session ends, you will get a direction. And after that, over the next 3 sessions, you will get to understand how you can do or implement all of this. So here's a poll, which I would request all of you to do. There's a link given below, bit.ly/100x poll 1. Can you all put the link on your laptop or your phone and go to this link? You will come across a form, a Google form. I am also Going to open it. And there are two questions there. When evaluating a startup, what is more important? Winning idea or strong execution? Please give a response. I'll give 2 minutes while I have my cup of tea. Please go on this link. It will take you to Google form. Please fill up the form. I would like to see your responses. I have my responses already got 2 quickly. So let's see how many more follow. Please type this link, click on it. It will take you to a Google form and give your responses. Why? Yeah, so they can copy it separately on their phone. Sorry? I'm getting responses. You need not copy, put it on a piece of paper, put it on your phone, and go to this form. I've already got 7-8 responses. You can't click on this, I know. Please copy it separately and go to the form. I've got already 15-20 responses. $22 responses. I'll give 1 more minute. It's so good to see your responses. Fantastic. I don't want to stop sharing this and show the other thing, but I wish I could have shown you this. I'm getting the responses on the form. So I've got close to 70, 80, already 100 responses. It's coming in very fast. And interestingly, the ratio is similar. 31% feel that winning idea is important, and 70% roughly feel execution is important. Thank you. I've got almost close to 100 responses. Thank you so much. It's important to keep getting your feedback. Yes, we've almost touched 100. Yeah, that is already 100. So let me elaborate, speak about this a little bit. We have crossed 100 responses. Thank you. I love this masterclass. I love people attending this. You are great. Keep sending these responses. So what is more important, winning idea or strong execution? This is not an easy question to answer. And I'm glad these 116 people who have responded so far have given their responses. When you're investing in a startup, you always look at a winning idea. That's the initial idea. Is this something which is very new? Is this something that is going to change the world?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry, I think this Google thing is got activated. Yeah, I'll go ahead. So I've got 130 responses. So remember, winning idea is important, but in my experience of being a VC, what we have seen is what is very critical is the strong execution. An idea may be good, but execution becomes very critical. In the VC world, you may not like the term, but it is called, is the jockey important or is the horse important? And jockey, here refers to the execution, horse refers to the winning idea. The idea may be very good, but if it is not implemented properly, in an ideal situation, both are important. But if I were to be given a choice, I would say strong execution is more important than the winning idea. Again, there is no right or wrong in this answer. You can have your own answer to this, and you can build your thesis accordingly. You might say, yes, I will back a winning idea, and based on the idea, I will put my money into it. And after that, if the founder is no good, maybe I can look at a different person implementing the same idea. So all this can happen. So it's great. I'm so delighted. I've got more than 150 responses already. Fantastic. Keep going. I will have more polls. So in summary, a jockey and a horse. A jockey is very critical. If you have to, figure out ordinary horse and a great jockey, or an ordinary jockey or a great horse. So winning idea is of course important, but strong execution is more important. Is my belief, and we build our thesis on that belief. You may have a different point of view. There's no right or wrong answer, but these are the questions you have to answer in your mind. I'm going to put questions to you have to answer in your mind and build your responses accordingly. It's superb to get so many responses. I have, actually, as I see it, more and more people now. I've got the final one, 160. 60% are saying strong execution and 50% are saying winning ideas. So it's a fair bit of split. No right or wrong. Based on your thoughts, you can then build a thesis. So I'll move on and I'll have more polls later on. So please follow the same process. I'll give you the link. This poll one will keep changing to poll 2, poll 3, and you'll have different polls. So what are the types of startup investors and which one do you fall into? Are you into any of this, or are you a combination of this? You will necessarily be in some of opportunistic. Anything and everything which is interesting. Doesn't matter. He or she will say, okay, today I'll invest in firms which are in the blockchain technology. Tomorrow I'll invest in fintech. Day after I'll invest. So it is opportunistic. There's nothing wrong in this. Second is a thesis driven. When you have a thesis, everything is within a boundary. What does this investment opportunity fall within my thesis? If it does not fall, I will not consider it. Then there are sector experts. You could, because of your industry experience, because of your consulting experience, have sector expertise. It could be agri-tech, healthcare, fintech. You have to then necessarily look at startups in that sector. And then there are trends. Now the big trend is of cryptos, of more than cryptos, blockchain, metaverse, SaaS. SaaS companies are doing exceedingly well. And from India, we're going to see a lot of SaaS companies to the extent that the SaaS industry from India is expected after 8 years, 7, 8 years, to be more than the IT industry. So these are broad trends. So you have to figure out between this, are you one of this or are you a combination of this? It is very important to make up a mind here. If you don't make and say, no, I'll see whatever happens, you're opportunistic, that is fine. But if you're not opportunistic, you need to make up your mind, what are you in one of this? So remember, you have to figure out what you want to become. You have to define your vision and strategy. Will your investment generate great returns? How will it do it? So the global average for early stage, not later stage, very, very early angel, pre-seed, seed stages. If you do small investments, if you do it in a portfolio, so there are two ways of doing it. You can do a portfolio investment of investing 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 2 lakhs, whatever is possible in a large number of companies. Or you could say, no, I am going to invest only in fintech. I'll invest larger sums of money. Either of these strategies are good. Nothing is right or wrong. If you invest in a large number of companies, small amounts, there's only a small percentage which will give you the great returns. If you invest in large number of companies, small amounts, at least 40-50% will fail. Balance 40-50% can give great returns. So you have to be prepared for this kind of thought process. Do you think you have to really assess the founder? When the founder comes to you in the angel investment stage, they're very early. A lot of them have never even experienced running a business. Most of them are first-time entrepreneurs. They need to learn, they need to understand. But you have to assess, is this girl or boy capable of becoming a great leader? Becoming a startup founder and a great leader requires very different skills. Ritesh Agarwal was only 17 years old when he raised his first check for Oyo rooms, and look at where he is. So there are a lot of these kind of stories. Will you continue holding after a huge gain? Again, See, sometimes investing is an easier decision than selling. Your investment could lead to a Series B round or C round, and then the VC comes and offers you money. What do you want to do? Do you want to exit at Series A itself or pre-Series A? If you get 20x returns at pre-Series A, hypothetically, what will you do? These are decisions you have to take. You may say, no, I'll continue holding, or you may say, I'll disinvest half of it and keep the balance half. So all this also you need to discuss, decide in your mind. Generally, as an angel investor, you have to look at a time frame of 5 years horizon is an average time frame. It can be more, but minimum 5 years is what you have to do. So do you want to sell or double down? Sometimes you have an opportunity, you put small amounts in angel at pre-series A, at whatever valuation, 10x, 5x, or what you invested, you have an opportunity that this startup is doing exceedingly well. You have an opportunity to actually again invest another money. What do you want to do? You have to make up your mind saying, when I have a opportunity to double down, will I back my winners? Suppose after a period of couple of years, you have 10 or 20 startups, out of which two are doing exceedingly well. They reach pre-series A, and they are getting valuations which are really high, and you have a chance, you think these guys are going to do really well because you've been with them from angel investment. Will you again put, suppose you invested 10 lakhs, will you again put 50 lakhs? You have to again think of it. Just as an example, we run a fund 100x. At 100x, we have a thesis of not doubling down our investments. We invest a fixed amount and that's it. I'm not saying right or wrong. You have to decide on this thesis. This is a very different journey. You might be the most successful chartered accountant in the city. You might be the most successful CFO of the industry, but this is a journey into the unknown. Whatever due diligence you do, remember it's a new journey. You will face hurdles. You might face some risk. But I'm not saying don't do the due diligence. You will do. It's a very different journey compared to the profession you are. No one can predict what will happen. In this uncertain world, economies change, policies change. You have three founders. Founders have a difference of opinion. Anything and everything can happen. So there are a lot of uncertainties. How much liquidity do you need and how much liquidity do you want? You have to be very, very clear on this. These assets are not liquid assets. And these assets are not assets which you can overnight get money. But yes, if you do the right investment, you can get asymmetric returns, really asymmetric returns. Can be anything 10x, 20x, 50x. It can be asymmetric. But you have to figure out how much liquidity you need. If you want liquidity, you cannot invest liquid funds which you require on short notice into angel investment, because these investments by its very nature are not liquid. So you have to be careful. You invest only those funds which you do not require immediate liquidity. What is a good investment idea? People ask me all the time. There is no right or wrong. It is different to every person. What is a good investment idea for you is very different from what it is for me. If everyone agreed on it, everyone would invest in one company or two companies, and everyone would end up in the same startup. But it's very different for you, it's different for me. How much should you invest? This is very critical. You have to figure out a particular percentage of your assets you want to invest over a period of time or a period of years. And you have to put a limit in each startup as well. So you have to put a limit, X amount of money in each startup, total number of startups. You have to say, I don't want to invest in so many, and total amount of money as well. All these three things has to be very, very clear as part of it. If you don't build this thesis, you can do random investment and you will regret. This has to be part of a thesis. You have to develop a framework, guidelines. What are your expected returns and what is acceptable investment risk? At what point of time you will say, no, I don't want to invest anything further. Are you looking at 20x returns? Are you looking at 50x returns, 100x returns? Then accordingly, you have to space out your startup investment and how you do it. So this is a difference. Everyone knows Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, and there's a cook. When you get a startup pitch deck or a startup founder pitches to you, you have to identify if the person is a cook or in the food industry, is he capable of becoming the future Sanjeev Kapoor? That is the ability over a period of time you'll get. And whatever you decide, you have to go by that thesis. So you have to be able to identify the cook and the chef. So this is a very important slide. Let me come to it in exactly 2 seconds. The stage of investment and the risk are directly proportional in the reverse direction. The earlier you invest, the higher the risk because there is no revenue, there's no traction, but the higher the return. So all you put all of these things together and you'll have to make a mind map. So if you want to invest in a pre-seed round, there's a product risk. Market fit is not there. GTM has not yet been tried. Product may be in beta version, early. So in pre-seed round, there's a product risk. If you invest in a seed round, you're not sure if this is the right team. Are the founders getting along properly? Are these the guys who will give you scale? Building a tech product is very different from building scale. So in the seed round, there's a team risk. When it comes to the angel round, there's a business risk. By that point of time, the product discoveries happened, market discoveries happened. Now then the issue is, okay, will this get accepted by consumers? How are the consumers reacting to it? So there's a business risk. Pre-Series A, there's execution risk. Are these guys able to execute? If it's, let's say, a D2C, direct-to-consumer product, how is he or she executing? I'll give a real example. We have funded a company called Kerala Banana Chips. In fact, they had come on Shark Tank India also and got funded. So they make very simple banana chips from Nendran banana. If any of you are from Kerala, you'll understand. These are very, very rich in terms of the taste and nutrition value, and not touched by hand. So very hygienic. If you step out in the market, you get so many Kerala banana chips in packets, it's fried on the road, unhygienic. What is so different about this? Difference was and is in execution. Within 2 years, they're shot through the roof in terms of sales. When you go to Series A funding, it's about scale, rapid scale. Month on month, is the business growing 40%, 50%? That's the scale that is required. Series B is absolute growth, and Series C onwards valuation. So the stage at which money is being raised and the risk is very different. From product risk to valuation risk, there's a lot of intermediate stages. And what are the decision-making process you have to follow? Firstly, you have to make your thesis. Based on the thesis, you have to position yourself saying what is the message you are giving to the startup founder. Are you saying, no, I am just an investor? Or are you saying, I am an investor with domain knowledge in the finance industry? Or, and it is very interesting, this is also a very good point, is are you saying that I have a huge network of friends and colleagues and business associates and business friends in, let's say, a healthcare industry, and I can help you grow the product? Everything is critical. So you have to figure out what messaging you're giving to the startup founder. What kind of startups will you invest in? You have to be, again, part of the thesis. How many investments and tracking? There is a process whereby these startups have to give a monthly review. Some of them give quarterly reviews. So suppose you invest in a healthcare startup, you'll realize that you suddenly are starting tracking that industry. When you're reading the newspapers, when you're reading research reports, in your mind, you're starting tracking. And you have to exit. When is the exit going to happen? How many years? And what is the expectation of exit? So let me go to poll number 2. So please put this like you did, all you guys did last time. Put this link on a separate link and go to poll number 2. I would love to see your responses. Should founders be obsessed about perfecting product or satisfying customers? What is important in early stage? Type this down, bit.ly/100x poll 2. Here I'm seeing already 5 responses. Please put this, yes, I started seeing responses. I'll give 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. I've started seeing, please send your response. This is the only way I can interact with you. I can get to understand your mind. Please keep sending responses. Wow, I've already got 50. I've already got 50 responses. 60% presently saying satisfying customers is important, and 39% saying perfecting product. Please keep giving your responses. Let me wait for at least 100 so that there is a good number. This is fantastic. You're a great audience. You guys are really giving good feedback. It's good for me to get your feedback. Well, I've got more than 100, and I think the trend is similar. 60% speak about satisfying customers, 38% perfecting product. I agree. Satisfying customers is very critical. I absolutely agree with you. Let this keep going. I'll tell you one of the things which I keep telling founders when I meet them. Don't fall in love with your product. Founders keep falling in love with their product, and they want a perfect product to come to the market. It is very, very difficult. I tell them, fall in love with satisfied customers. Satisfying customers is very critical. I've got roughly 150 responses, which is a good sample. But interestingly, now I'm seeing 56% are saying satisfying customers, 43% are saying perfecting products. So yes, there's a divide. None of these questions which I'm going to pose in the poll has a right or wrong answer. So if you have said something and I'm saying something else, doesn't mean I'm right, you're wrong. It just means that you're thinking differently. And based on your thought, you have to then figure out the right thesis. So yes, finally, 55% are saying satisfying customers, 44% or thereabouts are saying perfecting product. So again, if you are putting money as an angel investor, you have to decide what is more important to you when you talk to the founder, a perfect product or satisfied customers. So what are some of the factors you should keep thinking when you're developing a thesis? Your knowledge of sector, very critical. Most of you are either in practice or in industry. Does your knowledge lend itself to now taking part of your money and doing angel investment? What is your investment perspective and way of thinking? And why are you interested in angel investing? Not just because Ninad Karpe has given you this master class. You have to be passionate about it. You have to do it as a passion, saying that I will put money, I will guide these founders, and I will ensure that I do this on a regular basis. All of this is important. And what is the outlook to angel investing? Now, next two slides may sound very easy, but really this is the big difference. I have been in practice for 13 years. I have been in industry for 20 years, and now I am in the VC industry. It's a very, very different mindset. So if you're doing angel investing during the day till 6:37, when you stop working, you have to think differently. And when you're doing angel investment, you have to think differently. What is the outlook? What can go wrong? Fundamentally, when people lend money, People invest normal investment. They always think what can go wrong. All of that is minutely detailed. And in a way, our training as CAs also has a trend or has a kind of a bias towards thinking what can go wrong. But if you keep thinking what can go wrong, you will not be able to make any angel investment. Sorry, I'm making a very strong statement, but fundamentally, if you think of what can go wrong, it does not happen. At 100x, we have invested in 70 startups. We have seen 15,000 pitch decks. None of the 70 we have invested because of thinking what can go wrong. We only think of what can go right. And if this goes right, can it become a fantastic business? Again, I'm going back to my Kerala banana chips example. There's so many people competing in it, but we felt if it goes right, it can be a big business. And to an extent, we are prone to because they came in Shark Tank. So remember, your thinking is exactly opposite of what you're trained to be. Can you do it? And if you can't, don't start angel investment unless your mind prepares you to think of what can go right. Again, now I'll come to poll number 3. Please follow this bit.ly link, bit.ly/100x poll 3. Is capital chasing ideas? There are 2 options. Yes, capital is chasing ideas. Option 2 is no, capital is ideas are chasing capital. What do you think? Come on, please let me get some responses. Oh, yeah, they started. I guess it takes 2 minutes to copy the link and get into the form. So I'm happy to give that 2 minutes time. Yes, it started. Come on, give me feedback. It will be great. It helps in changing or delivering a better masterclass. My aim is at the end of this class at 8 p.m., you should be in a position to sit down, think through carefully, and develop your own thesis. That's my only aim in this class. I'm willing to share all my ideas, all my thoughts, whatever experience I have, I'm willing to share all of it so that all of you benefit and are able to develop a thesis and become angel investors if you want to become angel. So I've got close to 80, 90 responses. The trend seems to be more capitalist chasing ideas. Lesser, 32% is ideas are chasing capital. So let me wait till we cross 100 and then I will tell you what I think is happening. Well, it's crossed 100 and I'm sure by the end of what I'm discussing will cross 150. 60%, 64% is saying that capital is chasing ideas. 37% is saying ideas are chasing capital. Honestly, there's never been a better time to start a startup. If you are a young, recently graduated chartered accountant, you should look at startup as an option. The ecosystem is pushing you to succeed in a startup. Government has got so many schemes. There are incubation centers. People like us fund even concept stage ideas. It's not even revenue, concept, and we funded. Out of 70, around 4 or 5 founders came to us, they merely concept, and we funded. It has never happened in the history of India, and it is only going to get better. So the fact of the matter is, there is a lot of capital chasing ideas. The question is, if you're a startup founder, you have to ensure that you get smart capital, not dumb capital. Money is there, capital is there. You have to ensure you get smart capital. So I've crossed 130 responses and 62% is saying capital is chasing ideas. So my view is based on what I've seen, capital is chasing ideas. Remember, there are startups founders who say that, oh, I've tried and no VC is funding me. The global average for a founder to get funded is 65 meetings. 65. You heard it right. 65 meetings. Today, a startup founder, does 3-4 pitches to VCs, gets a reject, and says, "No, VCs are not funding me." It doesn't work that way. Have you met 65? Have you had 65 meetings? If you have not, and that's the average. So sometimes it can take 100, sometimes it can take less. It takes time. So generally, I would agree with the statement that capital is chasing ideas. I'll move on. I'll give you my experience. This is not just theory, my experience, how to evaluate startups so that you get some idea. I'll probably move a little fast. I realize it's already 6:50 p.m. We have time. I'm going to speak till 7:30. Then hopefully you will have some tough questions, which my son has said that you're all smart people, so you'll have tough questions for me. So here are some thoughts. Number one, what is the reason the startup exists? What is the mission? What is the problem being solved? And what is the solution? Is it health? And is it an 8-grain bread which the person is giving a solution? Is it too much of friction in a financial transaction and an app-based transaction? What is the mission? Very, very critical. What is the reason the startup exists? An interesting question I put up on the social media. If you follow me, you can check it. What would happen if this product did not exist? If the startup product does not exist, what would have happened? Is it solving a friction? What is it doing? These are very important questions you have to ask. And then again, going on what can go right. You have to keep thinking what can go right. If you have to remove your hat of what can go wrong, just remove it totally. Put a new hat saying what can go right. What is the potential market size for it? Within that market size, what is the addressable opportunity? What is the segment the startup is targeting? You have to figure all of this and then imagine the potential. It can be very, very huge. Why do people want this product? Is it a vitamin pill or a painkiller? It ideally has to be a painkiller. Painkiller is solving a genuine problem. Vitamin pill is an option. In the morning tomorrow, if you have pain and if you take a vitamin, it's optional. But if you take a painkiller, it will solve your problem. I'll give an example of another company we funded. It's called the Renal Project. That was also there in Shark Tank, India. Very simple. They are setting up micro dialysis centers across India is what they want to set. They want to set up 2, 3, 4 bed centers. Today, dialysis is a very unfortunate disease. If someone gets it, he or she has to do dialysis 3-4 hours, almost on a daily basis. And in India, unfortunately, centers are located only in large hospitals. So a person has to travel all the way to a large hospital, do 4 hours, 3 hours of dialysis, go back. They are now taking dialysis to smaller centers. This is solving such a massive social problem, and of course, it's a business opportunity. What is the vacuum it is filling up? And can it have a non-linear growth? Are you looking for a small store which will keep growing 10% month on month? That is not a startup. Startup means something has to grow viral with velocity. Is the timing right? Economic impetus. Is there, you've all read the economic survey, you've all seen the budget. You know what the government thinking is, the policies are. Is this the right timing? And what is the trajectory of the innovation? Is it on the right trajectory? What is the consumer acceptance, cultural acceptance? As a simple thing, digital currency, we all know the policy of the government. We all know what is happening. Is the consumer behavior getting reprogrammed? I give an example of Kerala banana chips. There, the consumer behavior they're trying to reprogram is saying that look for something which is not touched by hands, hygienic, and very, very tasty banana chips. So these are the kind of things you have to see. Where is the startup now? Is it at the concept stage, at the MVP stage, beta version, early revenues? What is it? And what are the metrics? If it even at early stage, what are the metrics? Is it drawing some downloads? If it's an app, what are the downloads? Are they free? Are they using it? What is the capital required for now in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? And the team. The team is very critical, and I'll talk more about this later. Is it a single founder or are there multiple founders? If there's a multiple founder, they have to complement each other. If all three of them are marketing expert, it doesn't help. All three of them are finance expert, it doesn't help. There ideally has to be a tech person, a finance person, and a marketing ops person. So there has to be complementary skills. All of this is important when evaluating. And if these are points you have to put in your mind and then finally take a decision. And when presenting the product, you have to understand why isn't everyone working on it? Or is there competition already? And are they better? Very important point number 2, what is the unfair advantage? What is the moat? Is it a new IP? Is it a better way of doing it? Is it direct to consumer connect? There can be various advantages, various unfair advantages, various moat, but it is very important. If there's no moat, don't invest. You have to find a moat in that startup before you become an angel investor. Angel investors have to identify that moat. And is it early entry? Is there a disruption the person is causing? What is being done better? Execution. It's not a problem. You can do the same thing which someone else is doing, but you probably do it better. That can also be something which is fundable. Are you doing a better delivery direct to consumer? Is your distribution sales channel different? All of this is very critical. And here I go to poll number 4. Please go again. What kind of a founder is a good founder? A mercenary, person who really gets the job done month on month and absolutely like a mercenary, or a missionary wanting to change things? I'll give it 2 minutes. Please go. Poll number 4. Check it. I'm going to check your responses here. Very simple question. Should a founder be a mercenary or a missionary? It's good. Responses have started. Unfortunately, I can't show this on the screen because I have to stop sharing, and then so I don't want to disturb this presentation and the flow. I'm going to speak for next 30-35 minutes, and so keep your questions ready. I'm going to log off at 8 p.m. sharp. So I'll give you 30 minutes for any questions you have. And feel free to ask any question. I'm here to share my knowledge with all of you. So I've got 50 responses already, and missionary is what majority is saying, but I'll wait till I cross 100 and then talk to you. So you're seeing whenever I'm giving a poll, none of these has a right or wrong answer. Unlike, let's say an accounting problem or some tax issue or some other issue, which by and large has a right or wrong answer. Here there's nothing right or wrong. But depending on what answer you're giving, you have to then have your thesis based on that answer. So I've crossed 100 responses. I'm getting responses here on my Google form. I'm seeing 73%. So that's a very, very clear indication. 73% feel that a startup founder should be missionary, and 26% feel mercenary. Well, I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with the majority. Founders have to be on a mission. They have to keep thinking, breathing, sleeping, eating, drinking the mission they are in. Mercenary may be for short periods of time where suddenly there's some competition, suddenly something has changed, you can become a mercenary. But overall, you have to be a missionary. You have to be on a mission. I've got more than 100 responses, and a majority, yes, keep flowing it, and you can keep sending responses. I can check later. But very clearly, 73% is missionary. And, my point of view is yes, we also look when we invest at is the founder a missionary? We want founders who are missionaries. So I'll tell you, this is on a website. This is not something secret I'm sharing, but I thought I will share what we do when 100x invest. And you have to form your own points on the basis of which you're going to evaluate a startup. Once the thesis is done, this is very, very important. We look at the founding team, very critical. The founders make all the difference. Market size opportunity. Are you making 8-grain bread to be delivered in South Delhi in GK2? It's a small market. Is it a market opportunity large? Of course not. Or are you doing something which is large opportunity? I'll give an example. We have a company we funded called Data Sutram. They do locational intelligence based on 270 publicly available data, even data sources, even satellite data. It's applicable for everyone. Locational intelligence today is for retail people, for banks, for everyone. So market size has to be large. Business model strength. This can keep changing. See, in the angel round, business model, sometimes it's a discovery path. But as long as you feel that the founder and the founders are more or less on the right track, generally not on but generally in a space, it helps. Again, unfair advantage and moat and conviction of a minimum 20x return. So this is 100x. You can take this from a website and form your own thing. If this does not, these parameters, we are not satisfied, we do not invest. This is a guide for you. You can modify this, you can make your own, but this is a general guide you can follow. And what are some of the potential red flags? Again, these are personal. You may or may not have these red flags when you're doing it. Number one, are the founders full-time in this? There are so many pitch decks we see where the founders say, no, I'm in a job, but I've come to raise funds here. So we ask them, why aren't you full-time? Say, no, I can't let go of the job, but I'm committed to this. So my question to them is very simple. I invest money in your startup, which is part-time, and you're somewhere else also. How am I sure that you're going to devote your full energy to this? We do not invest money, very simple, in founders who are not full-time. Very simple. So it's a red flag. You may take it as your thesis or may not take it, but I am sharing this is a red flag generally for if you're an angel investor. The person has to be fully committed to the startup that this is it. Single founder, I would not say is a deep red. It is an issue. Single founders, we have funded. Having said that, at 100, we have funded some startups which are single founders. For example, Renal Project is a single founder. Ideally, you should have more than one founder, and ideally, one of the founders should be a tech co-founder. And that takes me to the last point: is the tech outsource? It becomes very difficult if the tech is outsourced somewhere, is the IP holding somewhere. Ideally speaking, in the ideal situation, there should be one founder who's a tech founder, and the entire tech is developed in-house. Now, this is a very sensitive issue. Are they drawing salary at the normal thing? At the pre-seed level, it's very interesting. Some people will come to you and say, Mr. Angel or Miss Angel, let's assume Shreya is Angel. Shreya, you know what? I am not drawing salary now because I have bootstrap. But the moment you give me 50 lakhs, I'll start drawing salary. Now, what is going on in Shreya's mind? My God, my money he wants to take salary home, but when he's investing his own, he's not doing anything. The solution to this is drawing salary at market rate of the qualification of the founder at seed stage, at angel round is simply difficult. We do not stop a founder, we do not fund them. We have to look at, yes, you can draw some small amount just to keep your house running, but you cannot draw your market size. Remember, you have to tell the founders, use these words. You need not quote me, don't say Ninadas, but use this word. Tell them a startup founder's journey is a journey of wealth, not a journey of income. In the short term, there's no income. If you want income, join a large company. If you want income, do something else. But if you want a startup, it's a journey of wealth. You can make enormous amount of wealth as a startup founder, but you have to wait. It is not a journey of income initially. It's a journey of wealth. So you have to have that patience. I'll go quickly through this. Why do startups fail? If you have built something no one wants, consumers don't accept it. They don't want it. The startup keeps changing it, but nothing happens. What do? You have to just wind up and fold it down. Remember, as a startup fails, unlike investment in the stock market or somewhere else where you get at least some part of the money, you have to sometimes, most of the times, 99%, have to say this is a write-off. So you have to be prepared for that. Some founders are perfectionists. They know this is so many bugs. We can't do it. Keep, so that doesn't help. If there's no team and a single founder and the founder loses interest, leaving that company is a phenomena which hopefully none of you encounter. It's a company where it's neither growing nor failing. We always want a company to either succeed fast or fail fast. If you're in the middle, where keep growing 2% month on month, you're cash positive, net profit positive, what will happen to your money? You will never get the returns you want. Company is growing, you're not investing. Remember, you're not investing in a startup for dividends. That is not your motive. If you think you want to invest for dividends, startup angel investment is not the place to invest. So leaving that company really ruins your investment. Startups also have, superhumans, they think, founders, have too much pride. They don't take coaching from anyone. They don't trust anyone. Lack of respect for finance is also another thing. They think, no, finance is not so important. So untrue. What is the zero cash day? We keep asking, what is the cash balance? What is the burn? What is everything is very important to track. This is also important matrix where a lot of startups fail. And sometimes in the greed, people raise too much money too soon. They're not able to deploy that money properly, and premature scaling up. You do a big campaign and suddenly you get a lot of hits, a lot of downloads, but after that, the product does not match that. You have scaled. So these are some of the reasons why startups fail. So let me start now talking to you about, again, bringing to a thesis. Your thesis is a market strategy. Your strategy to invest is clearly based on your thesis. Your thesis is a set of beliefs written in words. I have given you so many thoughts and so many ideas. All of that has to converge in your mind. And based on that, you have to draw up a thesis and you have to write it down on a piece of paper. That becomes your investment thesis. If you don't have a thesis, you may have emotions in an investment decision. As a startup investor, angel investor, as less emotion as you have is better. All of us are human beings. There will be emotions. But as much as you remove emotion from an investment decision is better. You might say, no, let's give an example. Shreya says, I am going to just do fintech investment. And tomorrow she gets something which they think is so good in agri-tech. Say, let me do agri. Day after she says, get something in health tech, let me do agri. It does not go with your thesis. Once your thesis is driven, stick to it. And stick to it. That's the only way to succeed. Do the same thing again and again. As an angel investor, you will succeed. If you keep jumping, you will not. You might succeed, but the chances are lesser. So you might find it interesting that you have to also pitch to the founders. Today, in office, we had finalized investment in one founder's startup. And obviously, he said, oh, I've got another offer. So then, of course, we have to pitch 100x. So tomorrow, if Shreya is investing and she want to put money, the founder says, no, you know what? I've got 5 other people giving the same amount of money. What is it that you bring to the table? You might feel, oh, God, I never thought I have to pitch, but yes, you have to. A lot of occasions you have to pitch, and startup founders may or may not take the money based on how you pitch to the founders. Be very specific. You have to lay down per startup how much you're going to invest, per category how much you're going to invest, how much of your investable funds you're going to put aside for startup investment, or what period of time, what is the length of time you're going to look at before you start unwinding investment. Everything has to be very, very specific. So this corpus you have to set aside, saying that over the next 5 years, 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, 8 years, whatever period, investment period you have, what is the amount you have to set aside, you have to think through. And again, risk appetite. Remember, the earlier the investment, the higher the risk, the higher the returns. Asymmetric returns are generally possible in very early investment, angel investment. So all of this is correlated, and you have to decide these three things have to be put down very, very carefully. What stage are you looking at? Are you looking at very early? Now, how are you going to do it? There are various methods of doing it. You can join a syndicate. There are a lot of syndicates available. There are a lot of networks available in cities. You can join one of those networks, or you can do it individually as well. At 100x, what we do is we do the first investment, and then we have a pitch day where angel investors come and see the startups and invest. So there are various methods. There are plenty of opportunities to pitch. Remember, just because you like a startup doesn't mean you're able to invest, because the startup may get so many interests that ultimately you may not be able to invest in that. But you have to figure out, you can do individual investments. It's not difficult at all. You have to proclaim yourself. Put it on LinkedIn that you're an angel investor. Talk to people who are angel. Meet angel investors in your city. Join some networks, and you can initially start listening, start absorbing, listen to pitch decks, and slowly you'll be able to do it. Joining a syndicate is also another way. There's a lead investor who says, yes, I've invested X amount. Do you want to come in as the next? That is possible. And then there are networks, and then there are VC funds like us. Of course, today location is not as important. It was very critical pre-COVID. Hopefully in post-COVID also this hybrid method is going to happen. Today I am sitting in Bombay and giving the masterclass all over India. This is possible because location is no longer important. Digital meetings are accepted. But in the good old days, location became critical because each city had its own group of angel networks, and there were all deal flows happening in personal meetings. Engage in person, people talk, I have invested in this, what do you think? Aapko dalna hai isme, I have put. So all that became very critical. The number of startups, and this is based on economic survey, which are in the Delhi NCR region, is becoming the largest in India. We obviously had earlier Bangalore region, which was there, but a lot of these hubs are happening. But more importantly, the economic survey also pointed out that in 555 districts, there's at least one startup. So startups are coming all over the place. Today at 100x, we are seeing startups coming from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns as well, because ideas are everywhere. But this is also what you have to decide. Are you going to invest only in Indian startups domiciled and registered in India? There are various flavors. There are startups in the Indian market but registered in Singapore, in US. So you have to invest in that geography. But it can be here. There are startups in US, Singapore, wherever, which are registered there and operating that geography. Do you want to invest there, or you want to invest only in India? At 100x, we have decided we'll invest only in India registered company. We believe as a fund, registered fund, we'll do all our angel pre-seed investment in Indian companies, because if we have to take any recourse to any law, we feel we are comfortable at this point of time with India geography. Doesn't mean in future we'll not do it. We will probably do it in future. But yes, initially, we do not want to look at startups which are registered outside of India. We'll only invest in startups, companies which are registered in India. Very critical. You have to finalize this. And I'll come, I think, to my last poll. No, there's 2 more polls. So go to this poll 5. Just type this bit.ly/100x poll 5. When raising funds, a founder should be guided by need or greed. So let's assume a founder has, in the initial stages, someone says, oh, I'll give you $3 million check. That is greed. Should he take it when money is available, or should he wait for the need? There are people, giving both sides of the arguments. You'll find a lot of people advising, saying, take the money whenever you can. A lot of people saying, no, take it only now. So let me understand from all of you participating here, what is your view? What do you think a founder should do? If you are a financial advisor to this founder, what will you tell him or her? You tell her, take as much money as available right now. You never know, tomorrow you may not get it. Or you'll say, no, hold on, take only as much as required for next 12 to 18 months. I've started getting responses. Thank you. I must appreciate it. It's a great audience. You guys are superb. You are responding to this. Here I'm getting all responses. I'm checking it. Now I'm really happy to see this one. I'm getting a sense of how you're thinking. When it crosses 100, I will give you my thought on this. I'll wind down next 15 minutes or so. So keep your questions ready, and Shreya will take the questions and post it to me. I'll be happy to answer as many questions as I can. Well, the overwhelming majority is saying need. I don't think any of these polls had so much majority. 85, I've got 80, 89, 90, 100 responses. 92% is saying need. 8% is saying greed. So I'll tell you both sides of the argument. Particularly in the Valley, Silicon Valley, some of the VCs and some of people advising say, if money is available, grab it with both hands, figure out after that how to use it, how to deploy it, and how to scale. On the other hand, some people say, no, don't unnecessarily take money too early. Take only as much money as you want, and later on when you want more money, go and take it. So I'm inclined, again, none of these questions I'm asking is a right or wrong. I'm inclined towards the need, saying that don't be greedy, taking money, whatever money is on the table, based on your need, take your money. And as you scale, you can always go back. See, if you don't scale, in any case, you're in trouble. When you scale, you can always go back at higher valuations, whatever, and raise more money. So I've crossed 100 responses, overwhelming. 93% are saying need, and only a small percentage are saying greed. So yes, my view is also need. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. So there's one final poll after a couple of slides. So, but great, audience is great. People are responding. It's fantastic. This is something each one of you needs to decide. Very critical. What sector are you going to chase? Will you be sector agnostic, so just do any sector? Or will you say, I'm going to do only one sector? Do you have expertise in one sector? Start with that sector. And then later on, as you get hang of angel investing, you can start going agnostic. Again, do you have any negative list? Do you have a negative list saying that not, it's not against any sector, but let's say edtech sector, there are too many, you might want to say that, my God, there's so many startups, I don't want to invest anymore. It's possible. So this negative list is also very critical if you're going to be sector agnostic. You can be sector agnostic with a small negative list. And what are the traction you're going to see? Are you wanting to see annual run rate, monthly run rate in terms of revenue of the startup? what is a month-on-month user growth rate? So these are things which we track very closely, month-on-month, sometimes even week-on-week. It is not annual rate. Startups do not work on the basis of annual rate of growth. They work on shorter time frames in terms of tracking. As an investor, you have to have shorter way of tracking. Number of active users, daily active users, monthly active users. Startup may say, I've got 1 lakh users who have downloaded, but how many of them are active? Active is very important. What is the retention rate and what is the churn? Are 90% not able to retain? What is the repeat rate of customers? All these are very important questions to ask. What is your right to win? What is your secret sauce? Is it your knowledge? Is it your network of friends? Or is it just plain cash? You are able to put cash on the table. Some secret sauce you have to have. What is the domain expertise? Is it on your network? And are you going to double down on successful startup? This is also very important to identify right in the beginning. And this is my final poll. So please participate. You have been a great audience. I must say, if you are advising a startup founder, what would you tell her or him? A founder should hire for attitude or for skill? Startup, not established company. Should a startup founder hire for attitude or for skill? Simple question. Let's see. This is the final poll. Please give your responses. Yes, they started. Let me wait till I get some reasonable number. I'll give it 2 minutes. So it's around 7:20 now. I'm going to stop exactly 7:30 and hand it over to Shreya. So keep your questions ready. Let's have an engaging discussion once my presentation is done. So it's crossed 60. I'll wait till I get 100 responses and then I can tell you. I wanted this to be somewhat interactive, so I found this way of having a poll indirectly. So we are reaching 100 responses, is 94 responses as yet. So yes, we are crossing 100, 96. So interestingly, 60% presently are saying skill and 40% are saying attitude. So this is a very interesting response. We've crossed 100, 60-40. Again, 60-40 is a very, so there's no clear kind of thought process. So some startups hire for attitude and saying, no, if the attitude is wrong, skill does not matter. And they've been very successful, just hiring on attitude. In fact, some of the very large companies also hire, keep sending your responses. I can see more and more people respond. Some of the very large tech companies only look for attitude. They think skill, we can reskill them, we can allow them to figure out, but attitude is critical. What happens is in later stage, not early stage startups, when it reaches series C or D, you require people with specific skill sets, and that's the point where skill probably overtakes attitude. But yes, attitude is important. Now I've reached 58 and 42, 58 saying skill and 42 saying attitude. So again, it's a divided house. There's again no right or wrong answer. You have to talk to the founder and ask him these questions. And you have to see If the founder says skill and you feel attitude, there's obviously a mismatch. If the founder says attitude and you say skill, there's obviously a mismatch between the way both of you think. My personal view is, in the very early stage, attitude is more important than skill, very early stage. Later on, as the startup grows, skill becomes more and more important. So there you are, final 56% skill, 44 attitude. So that's was the final poll. Let me now start last few slides. So this is a Fireside Ventures. I have taken a screenshot from their website. They are very clear. What does this VC firm do? They invest consumer brand startups only. Look at it, very specific. Consumers. So this is the one of the investments they've done. And this is what they say, consumer brand startups only. What does 100x do? We invest in early stage startups using iSafe Note. I don't want to get into details of iSafe. On Saturday, there's a discussion on terms and shareholder. You can check on our website, simple agreement of future equity. We invest in early stage startups. First, institutional investor. That's our story, sector agnostic. So every person has a story. Every angel has a story. Every VC has a story. Every early stage VC. When you become an angel investor, you have to be very clear what you're going to do. And then you have to announce. Today again is trumpet day, so I've shown you this image of a trumpet. You have to tell people you are a startup investor. If you don't tell, if you feel shy, deals will not compete. Good deals will certainly not compete. Successful angel investor is one who gets a lot of deals. Deal flow will happen when you tell the world you become an angel investor. Put it on your LinkedIn, tell people, yes, I am a CA, but I also do angel investing. There's no harm in it. If you do not announce, you will not get the deals which you want. So here you have to announce, I'm looking at investing in seed stage startups, write to me at email. This is how you have to say. So I'm going to now close quickly. It's almost 7:25. I want to start closing. And this is my last slide. This is my email ID. Of course, I'm there on LinkedIn and other social media. You can connect with me anytime. And as a firm, 100x does early stage investments. If any of you want to look at that, you can always approach us. You can always connect. But here are my summary thoughts. Number one, angel investing is a very exciting thing. You must look at it seriously. Number two, go into it with eyes open. It is high risk, high return. Set aside money, and it is not liquid. Number three, do not take your first step without forming your investment thesis. I've given you so many pointers here, how to form a thesis, how to evaluate startup founders, what are the reasons some of them fail. You have to take some pointers than that and form your own thesis. It is very personal to you. There's nothing right or wrong in forming a thesis. Do not start without an investment thesis. Once you start investing, remember it can be a long journey. Angel investors, by very definition, law of averages, most angel investments fail. There are only some which gives you abnormal returns which take care of the balance investment. Imagine if you had invested in OYO when Ritesh Agarwal raised, I think, 35 or 50 lakhs at the age of 17. Look at the valuation today we're getting. So these kind of returns are only possible in angel. Also, you'll always hear of success stories. There are obviously failures. You have to be ready for it. So invest only that amount of money which you think you're able to invest. It is a very exciting journey. It will give you so much thrill away from your work because you're meeting young founders, listening to great ideas. Listening to a pitch deck is like meditation. Listening to a pitch from a founder is absolutely amazing because she or he is telling you all the new ideas they're doing, telling you the passion they're doing it, and for you have to listen. So welcome to this exciting journey of becoming an angel. I hope each one of you becomes an angel. What's better is you can tell the world you are an angel. On earth, you don't have to wait for that. Start with the thesis. Start with something specific. And I'm sure each one of you can think of it. If you think this is not for you, don't start it. Don't just because you feel people are making abnormal amounts of money, I'll jump into it. Do not go just for that. Do it in an organized manner. So that brings me to a close. I'm going to stop sharing and see if you all have any questions. I have finished 5 minutes ahead of time, but I think I'm more or less in time. It is an exciting journey, and you can always reach out to me through LinkedIn. So over to you, Shreya, for any questions.
Yes, absolutely amazing, sir. And we have a couple of questions. So, yes. So, the first question is by CA Sandeep Joshi. And he asks that what should be the investment strategy for a person retiring in present times?
So I will. So again, there are no right or wrong answer. This is just advice. So you have to form. So I tell people who have retired 10% of your investment. You should think. You should invest for the next 5-7 years. 10% of your investable assets in startups. This 10%, you have to assume that if you don't get zero returns, you should not feel depressed about it. Obviously, it cannot be zero returns, but it's high risk. So start with, let's say, 3 to 5%, see how it goes. And then I would say over 10% is not advisable. You can depends on the risk appetite.
Okay. So the next question, I think a lot of questions are related to this. This one is asked by CA Shweta Agrawal. What is the criteria of becoming an angel investor?
So there is no criteria. Obviously, if you want to join some networks, they will ask you for net worth. And SEBI also has a guideline for becoming a registered angel investor. But outside of that, you can always join syndicates of people who are investing. What is the minimum amount? Some people also take 1 lakh, 2 lakhs as part of a syndicate. Some people have minimum 10 lakhs per startup as investment. So anyone can become to be qualified as a registered angel investor and be on some of the networks. You have to have a minimum net worth, which is different. But outside of that, you can do it on your own without being part of the network. So yes, you can become angel investor.
Anyone can. No. So the next question is by CA Radha Agarwal, and she asks that what are the government schemes for startup, wherein collateral-free funding can be done?
There are plenty of schemes. I think the institute will probably have a separate session on various schemes. So there are schemes by each state government. So the beauty of startup world is state governments are competing against each other to attract more and more startups. Kerala government has a scheme which is very old and which is a well-oiled machine. I'm in Bombay. So Maharashtra government also has a scheme where they give grants. So today, there are grants available. There are free rental spaces available. Governments give orders from the ministry if you're registered. And there are Atal incubation centers across India. So all of them have incubation processes where they give free of a lot of things, free credits for software, free rental spaces. There are plenty of schemes. Through SIDBI also you can get funded. You can do, you have to just keep checking it. And I'm sure at some stage, Institute will have a separate session on it. There are plenty of schemes.
Yeah, the committee will organize something like this. The next question is by Anurag Gupta, and he's asking for advice. For an experienced finance professional looking to build a career in Indian PE or VC industry, how should one go about it? And what will be your advice?
Well, welcome to this PEVC industry. It's very exciting, probably more exciting than any other industry. The only challenge is it's a very narrow industry. So the opportunities are very narrow. It's not a very large size industry. It's quite new in India and very small. You put together all the PEVCs, Number of people they employ, a couple of hundred, not more. That's very tiny. So to get in is not easy because the opportunities themselves are very rare. But if you get a chance, think of it seriously, do it. There is nothing required to enter this industry. You have to have analytical skills. You have to have a skill of thinking strategic. All of you are CAs. All of you are capable and competent and have the ability to join this industry.
Right, because I think similar questions are being put on. Like even Arvind has asked, is it something to do with an age bar, or do you have to have an experience, or any limitations to become an angel investor?
So as an individual angel, there's nothing to worry. You can become an angel investor at whatever age, young age, old age, whatever age. If you want to join, VC firm, most of them don't have, they don't ask for experience, except again, VC industry by and large hires for attitude. Of course, you have, if you're a CA, it is assumed that you will have financial skills of analysis and understanding statements. That is assumed. Those skills are important. But other than that, it's all about attitude.
Okay. Next question is by CA Deepak Gupta. And he asks that, are there any VCs who are investing in real estate, affordable housing startups? If not, then why? How can VC be convinced to invest in such above startups?
So affordable housing is a very high capex industry. So you will not see VCs investing in affordable housing. You will see private equity people investing, and there are a lot of private equity people who will invest. So again, there is a big difference between VCs and private equity. Private equity guys are the guys who will invest large sums of money. So they are funding a lot of real estate projects, private equity people. VCs will typically look at prop tech companies. VCs do not have those deep pockets to invest, let's say, 500 crores. VCs don't invest. These are private equity people. So the answer is yes, private equity people are investing.
This is a question by, say, Anirudh Agarwal. Can you please give some cases in SaaS for a CA? SaaS for CA.
For CAs?
Yeah.
So I think, the comfort zone, whichever pitch decks I've seen from chartered accountants, most of them, comfort zone is something to do with what I call generally RegTech or a little bit of FinTech. RegTech regulation technologies are not, the size is not very large. So we have seen some companies, connected to automation of audit, or automation of, registration of documents. Some companies, startups on helping CAs do more efficiently. These are good companies, but in terms of massive scale, some of them can happen. We have also seen chartered accountants joining hands with tech people and getting into regular, consumer product industry, for example. You have to come out of a comfort zone and think differently. So CA by qualification is a degree which is a foundation. After that, if you think strategically, you can be part of any industry, a part of any startup.
Right. This is the question by CA Bhavya Chaturvedi, and she asks that what should be the primary criteria of valuation while angel investing?
Valuation.
Valuation.
Well, Bhavya, the good news is that there's a special 2-hour session on valuation day after tomorrow. We have made this 4 sessions. I have only designed it, but I'm taking only this part. Ishank Shah is going to. He's a great guy. Don't miss that session. It's 2 hours. Going to speak only valuation. Very critical, good question, but wait for that session to get over.
Great. So the next question is by CA Ansar Abdul, and he asks that how to get the funding for startup without dilution in ownership. Which legal entity is better, private limited or LLP?
So if you do an LLP, VCs will not fund. VCs are not interested in being partners in a LLP. So if you want funding, you have to form a limited company where there you get shareholding. How to dilute, what not to dilute. See, there are ways of doing some structuring where you can have valuation caps, where you can have convertible notes. All of this can happen, and that's where your expertise as a chartered accountant will help. I think in the last session, which is being done by S. Ravi and Abhishek Ravi, hopefully they'll touch on some of these things. But yes, dilution does happen. By the time a founder reaches Series D, E, and they have typically 10, 12% or thereabouts, less than that. And that is fine. The only asset other than the idea which a founder has is equity. So equity has to be handled very, very carefully, and you have to advise them carefully. When you take money, equity will get diluted. You have to ensure that the dilution is as less as possible, relevant to the stage of investment.
Right. So, CA Anirudh, he is asking you this question in particular, that which sector are you interested as an investor?
You want all the secret.
Yes.
I'll tell you what is happening and what are the sectors which are getting a lot of traction. Number one, agri-tech is getting a lot of attention. What has happened is the last mile has already seen a lot of investments, which is basically the point of supply to the consumer. The first mile has not seen as much investment. We have invested in a company called Philo, Philo, Philo. It sets up IoT devices in farms, and based on the IoT devices and satellite data, it gives on an app exact information to the farmer on when the farmer should plant, when he should harvest. So agri-tech, to my mind, is an industry, is a sector which is massive. Fintech, there are plenty of startups, but there will be plenty more to come. Fintech, India will become the fintech capital of the world. And there's opportunity for you, all you chartered accountants, all you people can play a critical role. No other country in the world has got the length, breadth, and the depth of finance-related issues which India has. We have people who are unbanked, people who are overbanked, people who use mobile apps, people who use basic phones. Name a problem, it is there in India. And we think of it as a problem. Startup founders look at problem as a solution to waiting to be found.
Right.
You look at problem and say, oh, this is a problem, what to do? Startup guys think, oh, this problem is waiting for me to find a solution. So fintech is another, so agri-tech, fintech, and then of course there are the new SaaS, India will become the SaaS capital of the world. Everything which is subscription-based, SaaS-based. And the last, Anirudh, you said, is asking me.
Right.
Consumer brands. So India has a very large domestic market. And you see the economic survey, the growth projected also fairly high. Very few countries have this 8-9% rate of growth in the domestic market. Post-COVID, hopefully we are just out of COVID totally soon. There will be a lot of consumers who want to consume. So you're going to see huge brands emerging in India, consumer brands, which will then go to the rest of the world. So there you are, agri-tech, fintech, consumer brand, and SaaS.
Great. Now, this is a very important question. I think a lot of CAs have this in mind. This is by CA Prem Prakash Kapoor. How CAs can help startups? Role of CAs.
So, I think this is a wrong question to ask. This session is basically to talk about how you can invest, become an angel investor. But I will still give an answer, although it's not, the session is not meant to ask how CS can. But you're thinking again, oh, this is a damn good opportunity for my professional services. So this session is not meant for that. But yes, you have to get associated with startups at early stage, not when they become big and they'll look for someone else. You have to give them, I had mentioned over here, a lot of them do not take finance seriously not because they don't want to, they don't have an understanding of it. They've just done coding for their life. Suddenly they become a founder, they have to figure out finance. So you can help them in finance, regulatory matters. It's not easy. So all of this structuring, the equity structuring is very critical. How to have equity structuring, also you can help them. So there are various ways you can help them. You have to figure out. But yes, this session is about angel investing.
Right. As an angel investor, CA Abhishek is asking that how can we tap a VC company for various projects in various industries?
I have to, keep talking to them. So generally speaking, VCs invest in startups, and then the startups themselves have their own set of advisors. VCs do not have a uniform advisor. Private equity people do have a uniform set of advisors who advise the startups. But you can always reach out to some of them and ask them, would they want to take your services?
Okay, there's some basic questions that they want to know. Like, say, Vishal wants to know that is it easy to do startup in India and what are the documents required?
Yes and no. If you go to our website 100x, you look for iSafe. It's a simple 4-page agreement which ensures that it's a simple document. Mr. Ravi and Abhishek Ravi are on Saturday going to take a topic on shareholders agreements. So shareholder agreements are complicated. By its very nature. And as a CA, you should not find it complicated because you are a CA. So those documents do take time. If you're doing on a simple iSafe note, standard document, it can be turned around fast. Shareholders agreement takes time.
Okay. CA Mohammed Hassan is asking, is there any formal platform for angel funding to being avoiding from the mislead?
Can you repeat the last part?
Formal platform so that I'm not being misled by any fake site.
So each city has an angel network, Mumbai Angel Network. I'm not endorsing any of this. I'm just telling you there are angel networks in each city. You can join them. There are always super angels, you call. Figure out who's a super angel in your city. Go and meet her or him and tell them that next time you are leading a deal, I will put small amount, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. That way you can get into the deal. Someone else is leading the deal and you can start putting small amounts. At 100x, we have a pitch day where, any angel investor can come and invest. So there are multiple options. Get in touch with some super angels, or there are syndicates. Get in touch with your local angel network and be part of it. There's some whatever subscription money, whatever that is, and you can start looking at deals.
Okay. CA Shobha Verma wants to ask that considering the fact that we have investment opportunities in secondary market, what is the reason that angel investors prefer to invest in money at early stage and not the companies which are in secondary market?
100x returns. Where do you get investment of 35 lakhs becoming close to $10 billion valuation in a matter of years? Number one is asymmetric returns. Number two is the sheer excitement of dealing with new ideas. Number three, and most important, is you're part of the journey. In secondary, you're just looking at the ticker. Do you want to be a ticker or do you want to tick off and on with the investor? You can never be part of a journey when you invest in secondary markets.
Right. So CA Shobit wants to ask, is there any book that you can recommend for gaining the deeper knowledge?
There's no specific book on angel investment. There are plenty of books. A lot of them will deal mostly with valuation. No one will tell you exactly how to, or this. There are a lot of books on pricing. There are books on scaling up. There are books on valuation. There's no specific book on how to become an angel investor in that sense.
Right. I think I'm just reading by the questions. There are a lot of questions that involve valuation, which you rightly mentioned. is going to be covered day after. This is a question by Vikas Agrawal, where he's asking that what percentage of saving, your opinion, should we have that we should invest in a startup when we're starting?
So I will flip it differently. Number one, when you invest, whatever amount you invest, there's no liquidity. You are investing for a potential high return in a couple of years' time. And you're also looking at a risk of losing the money altogether. So these three things you have to bear in mind and start investing. The returns which you get can be so exciting, and also the fact that you're part of a journey with a startup founder, investing early and seeing it grow is truly fantastic. That cannot be replaced. That can never be replaced. I'll give you an example, at 100x. So these are live examples. We invested in a company in December 19 called Smiles, SMILES, smiles.ai. You can check on the website. They are like the Oyo for dental clinics. Young founders. Within a matter of 2 years, they've got hundreds of clinics signed up, and you can check the recent valuation they got and the funding they got. Just unbelievable, and we're so happy to be part of the journey. We'll give another example of a company called Pocket LY. They give micro loans to students, very small, just like a pocket money. Both these kids are final year students. They came to us with an idea. They didn't even have a product. So we funded them an idea, and now they've grown to lending so much money and becoming huge. It's so much fun. That same money, if I invest in a ticker, I'm not part of the journey. Someone else is driving the show. I have no idea what is happening except in the regular quarterly reports. Be part of a journey, and potential of asymmetric returns. That's the fun of angel investment.
It's like you're part of the concept that you have started. Right? So this question is by CA Shweta Agrawal, where she asked that, is there any regulatory body over VCs? Can VC also run Ponzi scheme? What are the legal rights available to an angel investor in case VC manipulates his money?
No, we are all regulated by SEBI. So 100x is SEBI registered VC fund. There are strong regulations. The Ponzi scheme is not possible in a VC industry. Absolutely not possible.
So this question is by Sahidur Rahman. What is the difference between startup and entrepreneur, like a startup?
Big difference. Startup founders are also entrepreneurs, but entrepreneur is not a startup founder is different. Startup entrepreneur by designs his business or ensures that business is done in manner which scales rapidly. And startup founder is founder who looks for a journey of wealth. She or he is interested in massive wealth in a short period of time. Entrepreneur does business for a living, right? So she or he will have a shop or a business or industry for a living for his family or for himself or herself. Very different. Nothing is good or bad. Big difference is one is wanting to do business on scale, one is wanting to do business to earn good money.
This is by CA Indira Vora. She's asking your opinion. One startup founder is asking his previous job salary. It is approx 45 lakhs. And the total capital contribution is 46 lakhs. He's telling to give sweat equity to him. Is it justified?
So, firstly, this salary thing, once you come into a startup, you can never get your commercial salaries which are there outside. You have to ensure that you have to get lower salaries. So how much sweat equity to give? It's a matter of each company, how they figure out. So generally speaking, ESOPs and sweat equities in most startups are not more than 10 to 15%, not more than that. Ideally 10, not more than that. So that's ESOPs, so everyone included, not just one founder. But yes, you can always play around with the certificate.
Yeah, there are questions related to sharing of the PPT. I think the team would look into the matter, and if they can share your PPT.
Sure. I mean, it is just points noted, but I'll be happy to share. If you can make sense of it, there's no problem.
There's a question by CA Manish Chandak. How to evaluate time frame to give time to startups before investing?
Before investing. So before investing, the founder is just interested in understanding if you are ready to invest. And limited. Founder is not really interested in spending long hours before investing, because for her or him, if you start spending a lot of time with each potential investor, it is very tough. After investing, you can set expectation, 1 hour every 15 days or 2 hours every month, 3 hours, whatever you want. Before investing, his or her job is to pitch to you. You can ask questions, maybe a couple of meetings. But if you keep dragging on and on, the founder will say, forget it, I'm going to someone else.
I think this we'll take as a last question.
Great.
It's by CA Gomes. And question is like, for angel investors, the timeline for the entity going to IPO is 7 to 8 years. Meanwhile, a lot of them fail due to issues when the founders get arrogant. Have you faced any of such problems?
Well, not all of us 70 are going to succeed. Yes, some will fail and some have failed. That's part of the journey. As the startup scales, things become different. Founders have to have separate skills for scaling. And if they're not able to adapt to those skills, it will fail. So the failure ratio is high, but the success ratio and the returns it gives on the success ratio is exceedingly high. So yes, it's an exciting journey. It's not a kind of a standard journey within a frame. It's a very, very different journey. It's very exciting. Come be part of it.
And also there are questions of how to connect with 100x.vc.
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, 100x.vc also has a LinkedIn page. You can send on the LinkedIn page whatever you want to ask. I'm on LinkedIn. You can always connect.
Great. I think there are a few questions that are still coming up, which we can give it to the team and we can hand it over. So they can be addressed later. Looking at the time frame, sir. So surely it's a journey of wealth indeed. And I would like to thank you for your excellent deliberation and for interactive session, for answering all the questions in real time. It has been an honor for all of us. Thank you so much. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the leaders of the committee, the chairman, CA Dheeraj Khandelwar sir, and vice chairman, CA Pramod Jain sir, for taking up the first year of the committee and bringing this amazing masterclass, which today is the first day, and we have 3 more sessions. So thank you so much to the entire team, to the secretariat, Dr. Sambit sir, and the entire team. And last but not the least, I would like to thank the participants for their absolute amazing active participation. Even when the polls were being there, I think the response was amazing every time, and we could connect. And also I was answering the questions. So it was just amazing to be a part. So see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we have session at the same time, 6 p.m. for some deals. And to
Is
know
it 5
more.
p.m. or 6 p.m. tomorrow? Can you check?
I think tomorrow is 6 p.m.
Sambit?
Day after is 5.
Oh, is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Yes. So let's get going tomorrow for another session. And thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you for inviting me. All of you can become angels on earth. So start your journey today. Thank you. I'll log off. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.